So let's start with two important definitions. One is, what is culturally relevant teaching? Mostly used in the K-12 context, culturally relevant pedagogy focuses on strategies used by teachers to enhance student achievement and support student learning while upholding their cultural identities. That is, we respect the learning they come to us with while encouraging them to learn new ways and new things. In the college classroom, this is not that different. Culturally responsive teaching are those efforts to address and remove equity gaps by viewing the cultural knowledge that students come to us with as assets and then scaffolding their knowledge to the concepts being taught. The second definition is about intercultural competence. Competence is that ability to develop targeted knowledge, skills, and attitudes that lead to visible behavior and communication that are effective and appropriate in intercultural interactions in our classrooms with diverse learners. We need to focus on developing our awareness, our knowledge, and skills in relation to intercultural communication so we can support their learning better.
Culturally relevant teaching generally falls in three tenets: awareness, knowledge, and skills. Awareness. This begins with self awareness, awareness of your values, your attitudes, and your beliefs, and past experiences that may have influenced these. You must be aware of your own biases relating to issues such as stereotyping, prejudice, and discrimination, and how they may impact interacting with students. Being aware of the multiple and intersectional identities among students, and recognizing the need for broader intercultural knowledge. In terms of knowledge, as educators, we are compelled to recognize the diversity among our students and the experiences they bring that are influenced by the various cultural backgrounds, and for some, sociopolitical issues that lend themselves to feelings of powerlessness, even within the classroom. These issues help to shape students' learning. They call for knowledge of theories, resources, cultural issues that impact learning, and skills to enhance student belonging. When we speak of skills, we're talking about the strategies and techniques we employ to improve students' sense of community, sense of connectedness. Think of the classroom activities you employ. Do they value diversity among students, including diverse types of learners? It is important that you are intentional about the use of inclusive strategies, consulting with colleagues and others with knowledge of other cultures, both general and specific, when needed. To be engaged in culturally relevant teaching, here are a few things to consider. First, what is your teaching philosophy? How do you feel about power dynamics in the classroom? Do you make room for differing and or uncomfortable topics? Be aware of communication styles. Recognize that intercultural learners have different learning styles, different ways of communicating their understanding. It is important to recognize differences as positive, as a reason for you to celebrate, for the class to celebrate. In order for others to follow, you must model tolerance and respect for differences.
Now, skills related to practicing intercultural competence is associated with teaching strategies, and which are, of course, in turn related to knowing your students' level of language proficiency. Our students often come to us with, good to high levels of social conversational skills, which make us feel like they are so fluent, so they must be knowing the language well. However, the reality is that despite that high level of conversational skill, they often lack the formal academic registers in the English language, which is needed to function properly in the academic world of the classroom. So it is important that if you encounter or if you see a student who is conversationally fluent but is lacking in academic skills, this is a red flag that the student might need to be assessed for language proficiency so that we can better support the needs of the students before it gets too late. Ignoring the red flag or the discrepancy that you notice might lead to undesirable consequences and frustrations for the students because we're unable to provide the student with timely support. So if you are in that situation and thinking of what to do, please reach out to Dr. Sarajeeva in the Bridge program. The link is in the slide, and where she will help you with the process. But you can also get some preliminary information from the website and about proficiency levels from students. But for more in-depth knowledge and for more in-depth help, please do uh, contact Dr. Sarajeeva.
So far, in our presentation, we defined culturally relevant pedagogy and reviewed essential aspects of awareness and knowledge. Now, let's talk about some specific strategies that would help you. The first overarching strategy I would like to outline gives a sound foundation for most of the strategies supporting culturally relevant teaching. We all know that the first class sets the stage for the entire semester. So, get to know your students as early in the semester as possible. This can be accomplished by using a variety of teaching activities during your first class. You may consider activities such as introductory icebreakers with focus on student cultural backgrounds, class surveys with the same focus, group activities inviting students to share insights on communication style preferences. It is a good idea to do these activities before you dive into the syllabus. Starting your first class with an icebreaker that is zooming into the students' cultural backgrounds will definitely build the atmosphere of trust and belonging. Another important aspect of getting to know your students is to have a clear understanding of their mastery of the academic language. Dr. Mukherjee talked about the differences between basic interpersonal communication skills and academic language skills. Sometimes students who are fluent in interpersonal communication may need further support when participating in the academic discourse. It is especially important to evaluate students' academic language skills early in the semester if you teach freshmen and sophomores. To get a better grasp of your students' academic language proficiency, invite them to share in writing their reasons for taking your class and their background knowledge of the course subject. It is a good idea to do this in class and to time the writing. It might sound old-fashioned, but consider handwriting on index cards or a piece of paper. Such activity will help you getting a better understanding of what students can write without the help of apps, tutors, or friends. This writing activity would give you an understanding of students' initial knowledge on the course subject and also will shed light on their academic language skills. As the semester goes, consider planning activities that acknowledge and value diverse cultural practices with emphasis on your class cultural profile. In your lectures, think about including examples of the experiences and perspectives of people from various cultures. In lectures and group activities, address a variety of values and lifestyles. Also, be cognizant of the class participation patterns. Individual and cultural differences are often the underlying reason for students avoiding active engagement. To involve students who would not participate actively, consider various group assignment strategies, such as pair share, preferred group partners, random group assignments, or instructor-guided group assignments. Finally, use the support the St. Leo community offers. For example, check the university community calendar for events that highlight the diversity of our student population. Plan announcing these events in class and consider building assignments around one or two of these events. Also, remember, the community is us. Talk to colleagues about your cultural observations. Share your ideas and activities. Also, ask them for theirs. If you have non-native speakers in your class that encounter difficulties, contact the Bridge Program team. We have the expertise and experience to help you. I'll be happy to serve as your point of contact. Next, Dr. Mukherjee will introduce several useful resources that support culturally sensitive pedagogical practices.
Additionally, there are some EdTech resources that you can try out with your students. Of course, there are several Google Chrome extensions, but that you could readily adapt for classroom use. But I'm giving you a few examples that are particularly related to reading and writing. So there is IM Translate, there is Rewordify, and Beeline Reader. There's several more, but I'm just sharing a few. Check them out. These are resources that you can share with your students that helps them translate if they need translations, if they need help with being text being read to them. It helps with that. So do check out these resources. These are, like I said, these are Google Chrome extensions often, so you will, they are ready easily. Some of them are also as apps, but most of them have also the website that you get that they can work with. Um, Another interesting resource is Hofstede's country comparison website. This is both a fun and as well as a uh, educational website where you can learn about Hofstede's framework that he has developed to that shows the effects of a society's culture on the values of its members. So he has some dimensions that explains the values and how these values relate to behavior. So like I said, it's a fun yet educational website. You can enter up to 4 countries to see the comparison on Hofstede's scales, and use that again to reflect or maybe adapt your own teaching.
Thank you for watching this video on culturally sensitive pedagogy. We'll be happy to support your work with diverse students in the future. Please contact us. Our presentation concludes with references you may find helpful for your further exploration of culturally sound pedagogy.